Today we're going to be revealing Solar Performance's new aftermarket throttle body for the C8 Z06. So let's get started with this video. So thanks for tuning in, guys. So Solar Performance has officially launched their Gen 2 throttle bodies for the C8 Z06. It is their 91mm throttle bodies that you see right here. I kind of talked a little bit about them in a previous video when I first announced them as a new sponsor of the channel. They had their 87mm, which is their Gen 1 now, and I kind of hinted and showed quite a bit of the Gen 2 91mm. Guys, it is finally here. As of the recording of this video, it should be live right now that you can go ahead and order these. And not only that, if you go ahead and use my discount code New Horizon, you can save yourself 5% on your order should you choose to buy them. There's no tuning that needs to be done with these, so they are warranty safe. They are also fully emissions compliant with places like California, and they come with a 30-day guaranteed or your money back, no questions asked kind of deal. So you can install these, zero risk. And if you're not satisfied or blown away with it, you can definitely send these back and they will fully refund your money. They are that confident in these things. I already had kind of had these in the C8 Z06, but then I took them out to try out the Gen 1s and get a good comparison. And what I can say is that these are a definite improvement, not only from the OEMs, but even from the Gen 1 87mm as well. And that's not only just because it's a larger size being the 91mm. Solar Performance has gone ahead and done quite a bit in this new throttle body to optimize the airflow that's coming in. So I talked quite a bit about this one in a previous video, so I'm just gonna give a quick notes of the changes that they've done from the 87mm, which is actually still in the C8 Z06 currently right now, and this 91mm. So let's go through some of these changes, and then we're also going to talk a little bit more about this throttle controller. Again, also from Solar Performance. This paired with this is the money in regards to being able to not only get better performance from your low to mid range on your throttle, but this helps you customize your throttle input so that you can get the most bang for your buck. And this has the added benefit of being its own kind of kill switch where it can disable the throttle completely. So no matter what, this car can't go anywhere if you have that enabled kind of deal. So an extra set of security as well. But again, we're gonna talk a little bit more about this a little later, and we're gonna have a future video just talking strictly about this because it deserves its own video. It's that good. So going back to this Gen 2, the new throttle body from Solar Performance, what is different from it? Especially at least from like the Gen 1 and the OEM. First and foremost, I have my own OEM right here that we could do a quick comparison. So between the two, at least between the OEM and the 91, you have the ported 91mm, so it is more actual area of airflow getting in. You can see it on the top here, the ported as well as a beneficial tapering of that port as well from the OEM. It's very, very hard. It's a very, very hard line on the OEM where you can see there as compared to Solar's, which has been kind of smoothed out, made a little bit more efficient in that regards. But then getting into the next thing of why this is so much more improved, and I mean seriously improved from this to the OEM, is a 20% airflow improvement, which is a huge amount. It is significantly more even than the 87mm, which has also a pretty darn good amount of benefits, about, I believe, 15% from the OEM. This gives you 20%, and it is definitely noticeable. But one of the big things that you're gonna notice here is that this doesn't have the rod that goes across, at least on the front face. If you look at the OEM, you can see that that rod goes across. Solar Performance has gone ahead and basically removed the front section of that rod and just added the strength where it needed to make this still very strong, but also more aerodynamically efficient. So what they've done here is actually they've kept the rod tapering. They kept the rod at the edges right where it mounts, which is where you're gonna have some of your highest stress points, and then basically tapered it so that when this is wide open throttle, you basically have no rod except these little screws here that are also kind of rounded as well, which is really, really cool that they've added that extra little bit of airflow efficiency where you're not getting a loss in efficiency from airflow hitting this rod on the bottom end at least. but it still does hit on the top end. Now, they did need to keep the top end because of structural needs, because this needs to be, you know, rigid and be able to handle the full lifespan of the car and such. So what they did actually with this is actually work on the back end of this rod here. And what you're seeing right here is what's called dimpling. They have gone ahead and taken that rod and they dimpled the back end of that rod, which is really, really cool. And I know exactly why they did this, and I can't help but nerd out a bit because I am an aerospace engineer. My specialty is in aerodynamics. I know exactly what's happening right here in regards to the airflow. So the easiest analogy I could think of is the dimples on a golf ball. A golf ball has dimples in order to reduce the drag on that actual golf ball as compared to a perfectly round sphere. Those dimples basically help reduce the amount of drag that's happening on that ball so that it could go further. That same principle is being applied right here with these dimples, which is absolutely amazing that they've gone into that kind of length for this product, on this Gen 2 product, to get you the most bang for your buck out of this throttle body. And I mean, there are some serious benefits. Solar Performance doesn't like to focus so much on the horsepower gains from this because this is supposed to be designed to help improve your low to mid range on the Z06 specifically, that LT6 motor. That flat plane crank motor, because of the way it works, it likes to live in the high RPM. So a lot of the main functional power is on the higher RPM range, but it's kind of a little bit lazy. It doesn't want to move as much, not have that actual grunt on the low to mid power band range, which is what this is helping improve. And if you have a Z06 and you've had it for a little bit of time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The Z06 is kind of a little lazy. It could use a little bit more oomph, and this is what's gonna get you there. But if you really are curious about the power gains, there are customers and other YouTubers that have said about 25 to 40 horsepower gain from adding this throttle body. The 87mm, not the 91. The 91 has been out, like it's only been out, and me and like another YouTuber are like pretty much the only ones that have officially had these and work with them. I do plan to do a dyno run and try to do a comparison between the OEM to this, but it's gonna be at a future date. I just don't have the time this current second to give you those exact numbers, but I do know that that is the kind of horsepower gains that you're gonna have from there. And it really is dependent on what you have going into this throttle body. What kind of air inbox, what kind of cold air intake or regular OEM filter you have going into this before it actually goes into the engine. But in any case though, I know this is spectacular. I've had it in the car. We're gonna take a quick drive with this after I have it reinstalled in the car, because I do wanna show you the difference in regards to how much more vitality the Z06 has with this installed, between the more responsiveness on the lower to mid range, the sound is more distinctive on the whole entire RPM range by just installing this, which is crazy to think that even without an exhaust system, this is something that actually improves the sound quality of what you're getting from that beautiful LT6 motor. So again, if you are interested in these, they are from Solar Performance. The price for these is about $800 on sale at Solar Performance as of this moment. And again, if you use my discount code New Horizon, you can save yourself about 5% on your order should you choose to buy one. I definitely know this is already worth it because I had this already installed, but again, we're gonna install this again. And I'm gonna show you guys and really give you a feel for how this feels on the car. I'm itching to put these back in the Z06, so let's get started with putting these back and let's see how they feel on the car.
Cause I can't
So alrighty guys, so we have finished installing the 91mm throttle bodies into the C8 Z06, and I've tested it out. Everything is good to go with it. So we're actually starting from my special spot that I usually like to take video from and heading home actually before the sun goes down. So let's take a drive with this 91mm and check it out.
X-band, K-band, Ka-band, laser.
I don't need to forget to not have my radar detector plugged in when I'm trying to talk. So startup, pretty darn good with this. It is a little bit louder, I would say. Definitely louder than having it just without the, just having it as OEM. And then having the 91mm, there is a bit of a difference, slight difference between the 87mm and this new 91mm. So I'm gonna kind of bounce back and forth between all of them, essentially. But the big thing to say is that overall, it sounds better in my opinion with the 91mm. And I know some of you have asked, like, well, what's the actual dyno horsepower increases and stuff like that. I do plan to try to have a dyno run set up, and I'll do a comparison between the three. I just haven't had the opportunity to be able to get to a dyno to be able to do that. So that's going to probably be a future video. But the good news is that there is a lot of data out there, other YouTubers that actually have tested at least the 87mm compared to the OEM, and there is a bit of a difference. We've seen customers get from anywhere from 15 horsepower to like 30 horsepower gain, maybe even a little bit more. The big difference is, again, you're going to see that difference in the low to mid range. That's where these throttle bodies are going to really shine, is in that power band. The low to mid power band is going to be more functional, more useful, more grunt in your C8 Z06 specifically as compared to just like the OEM. And mind you, again, Solar has these for a whole bunch of different cars, including the Stingray and such. So if you have a Stingray's C8 Corvette or C7, they have throttle bodies for all the different ones. And again, if you use my discount code New Horizon, you can save 5% on your order. So, all right, I talked enough. So let's get started with this drive. All righty. Bunch of gravel at my spot that I usually go to. A lot of construction companies like using that spot also when they're in between work and such, and they have a whole bunch of ton of crud on the ground. It's not always the best. So, alrighty. So overall sound is great. I mean, I can tell a difference between the 87mm and the 91. And there's definitely a huge difference between the 91 and like the OEM. So let's do a quick little pull. So not bad at all. The throttle response is way more crispy. Oh gosh, there's a ton of loose pebbles on this road. I should have taken a different road than I took before. Well, lesson learned. In any case, the throttle response is way more crisp, especially in the low to mid power band range. So right now I'm at like 4,000 RPM, fourth gear, doing about 60, 65. If I push, I can actually get a good little bit of grunt. And that's not even full wide open throttle at 4,000 RPM. If I do wide open throttle, I mean, it's pushing me back in the seat, and I definitely feel that. The OEM could not have it do that kind of grunt. It would need to get up to like 5,500 RPM before it actually really started pushing the car in a way that I could appreciate, the way I would honestly expect that the car should handle, kind of deal. And so yeah, no, this is making a huge difference overall from where it was before. I'm very, very happy with how this is turning out and how this feels. It makes the car feel like how it should from the factory kind of deal. So, which is crazy because it's not like a cold air intake, it's just a throttle body. But Solar has just done such a great job with this product that I can just, like, I can feel the car like it wants to go. It's not hesitating on me at all. So, all right, let's do a quick pull here. I'm not gonna do launch control or anything, so let me just get going. I know I'm gonna have a few people say that was the absolute worst actual launch ever, and I will agree with you. That sucked so bad. That was all me, not the car at all. It is like 56 degrees outside. The tires are cold and everything. That just sucked. But overall, I mean, I could feel the car really wanting to go, and it just feels so good. I know a lot of that is just, it's awesome when you're putting in wide open throttle with this car. Kind of deal. You feel it on the wide open throttle, but again, you feel the most out of this in that mid to low range when you're cruising on the highway and you're just wanting to kind of just pass the car, but you don't want to go down 2 gears just to do it. This car can definitely do that now with this 91mm setup, and I definitely am all for it in regards to that. It is just way more responsive, and definitely what I was expecting from this car out of the factory, but it wasn't the case. This has fixed it. Solar has done a fantastic job with this freaking product, and I cannot talk about it enough. Oh yeah, no, this is just, it is such a it is such a night and day difference with this new throttle body that I know this is entirely subjective, me talking about this, and I'll be very honest. I know because this is a sponsorship type video, yeah, I'm a little biased, but honestly, if I wasn't sponsored by these guys, I would still get the product because it's just that good. It really does fulfill what was kind of missing from that C8 Z06 specifically, and I'm just all for it. I gotta take off my shades because it's starting to get dark. The sun went down, and I've been trying to film this part of the video for a few days, but it's been really cruddy weather, and I've just been busy with regular work, and I haven't had a second until now to basically do it. So so forgive me if the video quality is not 100% the best kind of deal, and I'm also about to like hit traffic in any case. And this is all without the throttle controller, which is honestly the other part of the equation that's missing when it comes to this throttle bodies. To get the most bang for your buck out of this, the throttle input is a ramp throttle input that's OEM, so it's very spongy for like the first 0 to 50% throttle that you input when you press on the gas pedal. It's really spongy in my opinion, and the throttle controller fixes that, gives you a more linear, more aggressive response from the throttle that you can adjust fully. It has full adjustment, so you can adjust it exactly to your liking, to just being slightly different than the OEM or just like super aggressive. And the best part again about the throttle controller is that it has a built-in, for lack of better terms, kill switch. It's not an actual kill switch that will turn off the car, but it controls the throttle, so you will not be able to move the car like actually with any kind of throttle input whatsoever, because it can disable it if you have that set up that way when you're not using the car. So it's really handy. It's one of those things that honestly, with thieves getting way more savvy, being able to spoof cars and their key fobs and such, that's one of those things that it might be that extra little bit that would stop a thief that somehow, even if they turned on your car, they're not going to get anywhere with it, and they're going to get frustrated, go find some other car to try to boost, because they're not gonna get anywhere with yours unless they find the actual nodule, which if you hide it well, they're not gonna be able to find it. So that's also something to consider. It's for a reasonable price, about $200. So that's gonna be an upcoming video. I'm going to install the throttle controller. We're gonna talk all about it. And yeah, that's gonna be so cool when we like put that in and just add those two things together. So in any case, I think that's gonna wrap up today's video because I am now stuck in traffic. And this is gonna kind of be a boring video if I could just keep on yammering, unless you guys just, you know, enjoy me talking all the time. So, and anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please check out any of my other videos, and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.